I'm going to talk you through a custom mount using AWM modular components. This is to set up a 4-display array with two 34-inch curved screens stacked, and to either side of that a 34-inch screen in portrait. These are all curved screens. The portrait screens are also curved. The arrangement will also work with the two outboard screens as flat displays. This particular configuration has been set up considering the overall footprint of the mount, providing the arrangement of the displays, considering the components and cost, considering the ergonomics, and considering the ease of installation. The mount uses two of the P75 posts. It uses two of the AWM arms and uses two of the AHX dynamic arms, which we'll talk a bit more about in a moment. And all of the arms use the LTH heavy duty tilt head. In terms of the installation, there are a few considerations. So the first is centering the displays relative to the desk. And when we are arranging the posts, the way we set up those positions is establish the center line of the desks is the center line also of the monitors. Then coming back the length of the arm to the post, and that is where we would set our primary post. Once that's set up, we would typically install that first post and then establish the position of the second, potentially even using the monitor as an aid, because what we're looking to do is symmetrically match the position of the secondary post to the primary post relative to the center line of the monitor. In terms of installing and setting up, once the two posts are set up, the arms are installed. A few considerations with that. The first is we've allowed around 7 inches from the bottom of the desk, and that gives us a positioning here that we'll add in the notes. More importantly, the position between the two channel clamps equals the height of the monitor. So having established the first channel clamp position, the vertical dimension of the monitor is the dimension between the equivalent parts of the two channel clamps. When we then install the arms onto the channel clamp, just a reminder that the rotation limiter can be set, and when one is doing that, the upwards tab faces the user, so the rotation limiter can be installed in various positions. When that's set up, it should be the upwards tab facing the user, then the arm is installed, and the heavy duty head. With the dynamic arms, so these are the AHX arms, and what we've done is removed the lower link, and we are only using the dynamic part of the arm, so the part that has the spring action. What we're doing here is using the dynamic arms to give us a ease of installation in terms of getting the final alignment of the bezels most easily. When setting everything up, there can be a little bit of variation in the height of the arms, so it might be that the arms upon setup are slightly at different heights. By using the dynamic link, it's very easy to then align bezel heights. That one happens to be where I left it, so that's easy. This one here is exaggerated high, but we can bring that down, bring that in alignment, and from an installation point of view, that dynamic link gives us that easy positioning. With this particular array, in using the swing arms in the center, we are making an assumption that the visible area of the displays is large enough that a user is unlikely to want to make interactive height adjustment on the main panels. And we're using the dynamic links for that installation adjustment. With this particular arrangement, with the dynamic link only on the sides, the amount of cockpit angle between the primary monitors and the side monitors is fixed. The only way that we can tweak that a little bit is if the user brings the displays forward and back, the cockpit angle can be changed correspondingly, so it can be flatter when the displays are all brought forward together, or if the displays are moved back for maximum focal distance, one either gets more cockpit or a slight gap between the output monitors and the main displays. As mentioned, this array uses the upper link from the heavy duty dynamic arm, and to explain why we've configured it that way, for comparison on this side is the full heavy duty arm, and the key consideration is that we are assuming that the mount must not extend back behind the rear edge of the desk. So in the system we've got the rotation limiters engaged, and with that constraint, when we have the lower link installed, it means that we get a lot of cockpit angle with the displays, arguably excessive cockpit angle. The only way to mitigate that would be to bring the displays substantially forward, which may or may not be acceptable on the desk. So with the AHX arms, it is an option to, depending on the depth of the desk, either can be set up, but we have used the dynamic link only because of that dimensional constraint. Another consideration, just in closing, mentioned before the height of the channel for the swing arms. With this particular installation, we've got the main monitors at about 6.5 inches off the desk surface, and for reference, with the A46 arms, to the lower edge of the channel clamp, that is set at 5 3/4 inches. A final consideration with this array is that we've got 3 arms